Hey everyone, welcome back to CyberBee. This is a channel where I share my journey into cybersecurity. And today I thought we'd talk about the CompTIA Security Plus certification. So I'll kind of quickly walk through what this is all about, and then I'll jump into the different resources that I used when I wrote the exam back in February of 2024. And if I were to do it all over again, which resource I would recommend and why. Okay, so for those who don't know, CompTIA Security Plus exam is one of the really popular beginner-friendly cybersecurity certifications that people can get. It is part of the trifecta, which is A plus, Network plus, and Security plus. And people usually write it in that order. I think I might be doing it a little bit backwards. So I got Security Plus already. I am now contemplating writing the A plus because I don't come from a traditional tech background. So perhaps learning more about the hardware side of things and software side of things would help me kind of just round up my knowledge. But if you don't agree if you agree, leave a comment below and let me know why. So this exam, let me just walk you through this a little bit. So the 701 version is out right now. I actually wrote the 601 because by the time I was almost done studying for it, that's when 701 came out, and I didn't want to switch gears and waste more time studying for it. So I did the 601. 601 is actually a bigger exam than 701. According to Professor Messer, 701 is I think he said 25 or 30% smaller than 601. So I don't know if that means it's easier. Maybe. I mean, in theory, you're studying less stuff. There's less knowledge. There's less things you need to memorize or know or understand. So in theory, yeah, perhaps it is a little bit easier. Here are the general, categories that you'll be learning about and then tested on the exam. So general concepts, operations, program management, security, and then of course threats, vulnerabilities, and mitigations. Here are some of the jobs that you can land with Security Plus, according to CompTIA. I will neither agree or disagree because I'm job searching right now for my very first role, and I haven't landed it yet, so I can't really say anything from a personal perspective. I don't think you can get a pen tester job with only Security Plus, though. That's a pretty red team type thing. And there are other certifications out there that focuses on pen testing, and Security Plus does not. It doesn't even focus on cloud that much either. So, yeah. In my mind, a Security Plus, with the Security Plus, a job that you could land could be cybersecurity analyst, right? Or a cybersecurity specialist, or information security analyst, things like that. Okay, exam details, very important here. So remember to trade your email address in for the exam objectives. This is basically your Bible for this exam, or for any CompTIA certification. You want to be studying things that are on the exam objectives and nothing above that, because most of them are really big exams, and you don't really need to be learning things over that. You can do it on your own time, of course, if you have the interest. But for the purpose of the exam, just stick to what's there. Okay. So some hard facts. It is 90 minutes here. You get 90 questions, and it is a mixture of multiple choice and performance-based. I got 5 performance-based questions at the very start, and then the rest of them, 70-something questions, were all multiple choice. And they're not easy multiple choice. It's like A, B, C, D, and there's always usually 2 answers that could be potentially correct. It's those types. Okay, so length of exam, 90 minutes. There are certain circumstances where you can ask for accommodation to extend that length of test time. I think you would only get maybe half an hour more. So for example, if English is your second language, if you have some sort of a medical condition, you can ask for accommodation on the Pearson VUE website, or I don't know, on the CompTIA something website. Once you register for the exam, right, or once you buy the exam voucher, they'll give you details on how to do that. So passing score is still 750 out of a possible 900. I ended up getting just shy of 800 on my first try. So I was pretty happy with that. Recommended experience. It does say you should have your Network Plus and probably your A plus and 2 years of work experience in a cybersecurity or system admin job. I did not have that. A lot of people do not have that, and they have also passed exams. So it is possible. Right now, it's only out in English with Japanese, Portuguese, and Spanish to follow. Interesting. Hence why you can ask for a extension of time if English is your second language. It does retire every 3 years, so which is why I ended up writing 601 and not 701, right? And there's 2 options for where you can write the exam. So the first one is at a physical testing center, which is where I went. Or you can do it at home, online testing. So I would definitely recommend you go to a testing center if it is within your city, right? If it's like a 3-hour drive away, yeah, forget it. Then do it online. So the reason why I recommend to go to a physical testing center is because, one, you don't have to worry about the other strict rules that they have if you're testing online. So I remember I went there and they gave me noise canceling headset to wear. They gave me scrap paper and a marker to write down my notes. If I ever needed help, if I had to go to the washroom, if something happened to the computer and like my test got erased or something, there's somebody there that I can put my hand up and they will come and help me right away. And versus writing it online in the comfort of your own home. This is what I hear from other people, right? They're very strict. So you have a proctor that sits on the other side of, wherever they are. Then they basically just stare at you through your webcam the whole entire 90 minutes. And if at any point in time you shift out of the camera view, automatic fail. If you start talking to somebody, automatic fail. If you get up to go to the bathroom, automatic fail. If you are like just reading the exams and your like lips are moving, they might think that you're either cheating or talking to somebody, automatic fail. Some of them are nice enough to give you a heads up, hey, don't do that again, or blah, 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 blah. But some don't, and they just automatic fail. If at that time some glitch happens on your computer, if it needs to restart or like, I don't know, it just doesn't, like the exam doesn't finish, automatic fail. So I didn't want to risk that, and that's why I would recommend people to go to the testing center physically. Okay, let's see what else does it say here. Very good. It compares the Security Plus exam to all the other ones. I don't think this should be in here because it doesn't have a pen testing portion, at least not in the exam version that I wrote. I doubt that they had that for 701 as well. So that should be taken out. It compares it to all these other ones. I think the most comparable would be this one, to be honest, which I end up writing like a month before I wrote Sec Plus. So I will go into detail about that. And here's how much it costs. $400. 400 USD. It is definitely an investment. Which is why you want to make sure that you pass the very first time, because you don't want to be spending another $400 writing it again. There are some ways for you to get a cheaper exam voucher. So one is if you're still a student and perhaps, I don't know if your school actually needs to be in partnership with CompTIA, or if you're just a student and you have a student email address, that's good enough. You can contact them. I didn't end up doing this, so I don't really know the steps to do it, but you can contact them, let them know you're a student, and they can then send you a voucher for, it's either 30% off or 50% off, something like that. Or you can do what I did, which is, hold on, okay, that's the end of it, which is taking the Grow with Google Cybersecurity Certificate. So I did this, and I got a 30% off voucher that I can use to then write the Security Plus. And even at 30% off, it was still pricey. It's always going to be an investment in yourself, eh? Okay, so this is one of the resources that I did use to like quote unquote study for Security Plus. I took this before I started studying for Security Plus, and that's why I'm using quotes. What I would say is, here's the pros of this one. You do get 30% off, which is really nice. You also get a certificate, a Google certificate at the end. And you kind of learn things learn cybersecurity things the Google way. I think that's a plus because they're a really huge company, right? The cons of doing this is it doesn't go according to the exam objectives, and therefore I don't feel like it fully prepared me to take the exam. So for example, I couldn't just take this course and then write the Sec Plus exam the next day. Like, not gonna happen. I would totally fail. Okay. If you didn't care about, there's also a cost associated with it. So there's I think like a 7-day trial or something. It's going to be pretty time crunched for you to finish the whole entire program within 7 days. You could do it. Like if you just spent like 8-hour days doing that, you could do it. But you probably want to pay for like a month of it just to space things out a bit. It's not expensive. I think, don't quote me on this, like 20, 30, or maybe $50 a month, something like that. You can just pay for a month and then cancel at the end, get the 30% off voucher, cancel, and you could still save a lot of money, right? What else? If you didn't care about the certificate at the end and you just wanted that 30% off, I would just say like get the trial or pay for 1 month, do it until you pass a certain threshold. You have to be like somewhat near the end of the course for them to send you that voucher. And, but if you wanted the knowledge without getting the cert, you can actually look this up on YouTube. I can't remember who, I think they themselves put it on there. You can just get the knowledge without getting the cert, which is totally fine. So, not recommended as a study resource for Security Plus, unfortunately. Okay, the next thing I did while I was studying for Security Plus now was I went on Udemy and I bought the Jason Dion's Security Plus bootcamp and exam. So his complete course and exam. Udemy, the pros of this is it's was pretty cheap. I think I only paid maybe no more than $50 or $20, something like that. The trick with Udemy is they sell really cheap courses. So just put it in your cart and just leave it there for a few days, and eventually they'll send you retargeting emails with discounts. So I think it's originally priced at, I don't know, like $100 or $200 or something like that. Just wait for it to send you the discount code and you can get it for cheap. So, pros: it's cheap, comes with exam. It's a complete course. It comes with the exams, practice exams for you. There's quite a few of them. I think there's like 3 or 4. It does map everything to the exam objectives, which is key when you're studying for any CompTIA exam, okay? So you can actually see it says it here, right? Like objective 1.2, 1.2, 1.2, blah, 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 blah. And it's video format and you can pick the speed. And I usually listen to this at 2.x until I need to like start writing notes. So I would say that is the pros. The cons is, I think Jason Dion, like the way that he teaches may not resonate with everybody. I actually had to stop halfway through and switch resources because it just wasn't sinking in. It was either too much information at me at once, or the way that he was explaining things wasn't complete, and where I had to do a lot of research on my own to actually understand what he was saying. And I found that he was teaching above and beyond the exam objective. And so, for example, yes, it does say 1.2, but perhaps like within this, lesson, he actually talks about things that's more than you need to know. And if your sole objective is just to like learn what's on the exam so you can pass it and you don't have a lot of extra time, I don't think that this would be the right resource for you. I'm glad I went through it because I kind of felt like, it's my first time writing this exam. I don't know what I don't know. Let's just learn everything. But I think that just ended up overwhelming myself. So next time I would not have a ton of different resources to use. I would just stick with 1 or 2. One main one and then like one kind of supplementary, and that should be enough. I did appreciate that he did have practice exams for me to write. What I did find was the way that it was worded was not very similar to the actual exam. So again, good practice, but if you're in a time crunch, I wouldn't pick this one as my primary one. I then switched to Professor Messer. You know, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about him. A lot of people talk about him and recommend him, and there's a reason why. And this became, and this is what I would recommend, be your primary study resource. So I'm on his website right now, but the ones that I ended up using the most was his free YouTube channel. So his Security Plus 701 training course, complete course is there. I would do that. And then I would also rewatch and participate live in his monthly study groups. Very helpful because he actually goes through practice exams questions with you and explains why this is the right answer and why the other ones are not the right answers. And if you were to buy his practice exams, I think there's 4 of them in there for $30 USD. He does not have vouchers. There's no coupon codes. It's a very nominal fee for you to pay anyway. So just pay the man. These are the practice exams that I found to be most similar to the actual exam. Not in terms of the question, but in terms of how it's written, because what I realized through this whole entire process of studying again, like going back to school and studying again, was I'm not only learning cybersecurity concepts, but I'm also learning how to write and pass an exam. That is a skill in itself. And I think a lot of people don't emphasize that enough. Is you, like, right now, this is the name of the game. You need to be able to read, decipher these scenarios and pick from a list of possible answers, where 2 of them are usually that could be correct, right? Like 2 very obvious that are not, and then 2 is like maybe this one, maybe that one. So they're tricky. Like they're not, that straightforward. And there's also like the performance-based exams, which I can't remember if Dion's practice exams had them. He must have, but for sure Professor Messer's did, and those were quite similar to the actual exam as well. So this is what the playlist looks like. It goes in order, and you can just hit play, listen, write your notes. Usually I would have to listen to them a couple of times because I'm writing, I'm doing research, I'm doing all this stuff as I'm going through it. But what I would still say to this day, is his study groups have been the most helpful. So he has 13 now since this 701 has been launched, and they're long. They're like 2 hours plus, right? And this is also a chance for you to interact with him as well live. There definitely were times where I was able to ask him a question on the live chat and he caught it and was able to answer it. So this definitely gave me, this was the only resource where I felt that type of connection with the instructor. I'm like, okay, great. He's making himself available and it's all free. This is why you should buy some of the stuff from him and support him in his cause. Both Dion and Messer also have free Discord channels and groups that you can join. I think Messer's more active on his. But there are there are super fans and things like that are active and help monitor the community and whatnot that you can chat with as well. A supplementary resource that I would recommend, and I did end up using, is this one. Darril Gibson and Joel Shelley's Get Certified, Get Ahead study guide. This is a massive physical study guide book that I got. I also really liked that it came with 2 practice exams and practice questions at the end of every chapter, which basically equals to like 2 additional practice exams. The way that they worded the exam questions were also very similar to the exam itself. And just I think watching videos is one thing in terms of a medium to learn, but literally sitting down and reading it and making sure that your mind is processing words, which is how the exam is, words, is a different depth of understanding. So if I were to do this again, I would definitely focus on one video course, so Professor Messer, and then one kind of like written book style supplementary resource. If you don't have time, you don't have the money, you don't worry about this one then. Oh, save 10% on exam vouchers. Interesting. Yeah, 30% is better. Professor Messer also has some exam vouchers. There you go. There's also some discount too. I can't remember maybe it's another like 10% or something like that. I can't remember, but some things for you to look at. Okay, what else about the study guide that I can tell you? I thought it was pretty easy to read from, from a textbook perspective. Like, it wasn't too dry, and you can skip to different chapters if it makes sense for you. And they also have a website that it's linked in to the book where you can get more. I think there's like labs, there's some more practice exams, like there's just more illustrations of the concepts than just in the book. That was pretty helpful too. Yeah. So I would recommend that as a second. And okay, let's talk about this. The ISC squared CC, certified in cybersecurity course and exam. So pros of this is it's free, right? They are on the mission to give 1 million of these certifications away, or these vouchers away. It does come with a online self-paced training. And the exam, I was able to write it in the same test center as the SEC Plus. So it was a major bonus for me to be able to be there, write this one first, be there, get the lay of the physical land, and so that I can actually, am not thrown off the second time I went back to write for Security Plus. So that was a major benefit for me. I also thought that this would be a really good way for me to prep for Sec Plus. I was totally wrong. So, just so we're clear, I would not recommend this as a study guide to write Security Plus. So a couple of things. One, so the reason why is one, even though it gives you the self-paced training, the self-paced training was so easy. I was able to do it in a day. And yeah, there were some practice exams there where you can like gauge where you're at. I was getting 100% on all of them. And so I'm like, yeah, I got this, no problem. Went in to sit for the exam, and it was completely different. They were asking me questions on there that was not covered in their training at all. And if I wasn't studying for Sec Plus, I wouldn't even know what the answer was. I remember like near the end, I was like, I just want to get this over with. Like, I don't even care if I fail. So I'm just like going through the questions. I click complete exam, and like then the little box pops up to tell you if you passed or failed. I did a passing, which is like a miracle. I don't know how that happened. Because I felt like I was so poorly prepared for this that it made me really like beef up my studying for Sec Plus. The second reason why I wouldn't recommend this as a study resource is because it doesn't really add a lot of value to your resume for job searching purposes. So ISC squared is recognized because they are the ones that give out the CISSP, right, which is the gold standard right now for cybersecurity certs. However, the CC, the certified in cybersecurity, is not yet recognized. It doesn't have that level of recognition or prestige that their other exams do. Their other certifications do. And employers are not they're not listing this out as a requirement on their job postings. So in a way, I'm glad I did it, but if I was only just going for this one and I was in a time crunch, I would just focus on Sec Plus or something else. Okay, so as a recap, this is what I recommend for resources studying for Security Plus. Professor Messer, his free YouTube course and study guide, right? Watch those, take notes, participate. Get his practice exams for $30 USD. These exams actually tell you the right answer and also why the other answers are wrong, which I think makes it really different from all the other practice exams that I did, right? Because it will only just tell you, well, the answer is A. Well, why is it A? And why is B, C, D not right? Right? That's where the learning really comes from. So definitely get his practice exams. For a second supplementary resource, if you have the time and money, I would recommend a study book. It doesn't have to be this one. This is just the only one that I got because a lot of people were talking about it. But, Darril Gibson, I think he's passed away now. Yeah, I thought this one was really good. I thought this one was really good. And, you can take a crack at it. It is not cheap, though. It's like $70. Yeah. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching. As always, if you like this one, watch another video for more hands-on cybersecurity, and leave a question, comment in the comments below. And as always, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.